Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and we are here with something pretty different today. So I'm not sure if this is a special edition of Budget Magic, or if this is a Clash Pack Event Deck challenge that looks like a Budget Magic, but what we're doing today is upgrading the Event Deck for Battle for Zendikar. And then, instead of playing this against other budget decks, we are going to play it like a budget Magic. We are going to go to the Magic Online queues, play some real decks, and see how this holds up. So that's the budget Magic aspect, but this is actually, at the same time, the upgrade series for the Battle for Zendikar event deck. So let's briefly go through the deck, and then I will talk about the upgrades and that stuff. So, as you can see, 38 bucks in paper, 24 online. But that's not really relevant to our discussion because we are building this from the event deck, which actually has a retail value of almost 50 bucks in paper and is like $25 MSRP. The deck itself, we are a green-black Aristocrats deck. This is this is halfway the event deck, and it's in between there and the deck that was played at the Pro Tour, the black-green Aristocrats deck that Gabriel Nassif played. So this is kind of a budget version of Nassif's deck, and also an upgraded version of the event deck. So this is what we got. We got one hanger back. Comes in the event deck. That's why it's there. Great card in Aristocrat strategy. Blister Pod. 1/1 for 1. When it dies, you get a Scion token. Carrier of Thrall. 2/1 for 2. When it dies, you get a Scion token. And Assaultite Emissary. 1/1 for 2. When it dies, you get to manifest. This is our little package of creatures that we play in the first turns of the game. We can use them to chump, sometimes attack, but their main purpose is we can sacrifice them to our sacrifice effects, which are 4 copies of Nantucko Husk, 3 mana, 2/2, but you can sacrifice a creature to give it +2/+2 until end of turn. And we can also sacrifice them to Smoldering Abomination, a 4/3 flyer for 4 mana, has Devoid. At the beginning of your upkeep, you sack a creature. Whenever you sack, you draw a card. So then we have our combo pieces, which are 3 copies of Grim Haruspex, 3/2 for 3 mana. You can also play it face down as a morph for 3, and then flip it up for 1 black. When a non-token creature you control dies, you draw a card. Catacomb Sifter. It's an Eldrazi drone, 1 a black and a green for a 2/3. It enters the battlefield, and you put a Scion token into play. And whenever a creature dies, you get to scry 1. And then, of course, the centerpiece of the deck, Zulaport Cutthroat, 2 mana, 1/1. Whenever it or another creature you control dies, you drain for 1. Each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. So the idea of this deck is we will play these early game creatures, our sacrifice fodder creatures, and then we will play our combo-y pieces, Zulaport Cutthroat to drain our opponent, Catacomb Sifter to scry, Grim Haruspex to draw some cards. Then we'll play a sack outlet, like Smoldering Abomination or Nantucko Husk, and we can sacrifice all of our early game sacrifice fodder creatures, get value from our combo pieces, and hopefully win the game with a huge Nantucko Husk or with Smoldering Abomination. Either that, or we can just drown our opponent in card advantage. When we can like sack a couple Blister Pods with a Haruspex and a Smoldering Abomination on the battlefield, we can draw so many cards that we can just bury an opponent that way. So that's the basis of the deck. The rest of the deck, we have a single Duress. This one, I'm going with Nassif. He was playing a single Duress in his Black-Green Aristocrats deck, so I kept it in there. We have a single Evolutionary Leap, another Sacrifice Outlet, and this can generate some insane value with Blister Pods and Carrier Thralls, Hangerback Walkers, Sultai Emissary, because you can sacrifice each of those creatures twice with the Manifest or the Scion token. So you can get 2 new creatures for the price of 1. And then a couple Murderous Cuts for removal. So that's the deck. As far as the sideboard, we have 2 Evolving Wilds, 5 Forests, 4 Jungle Hollows, 4 Llanowar Waste, 2 Rogue's Passage. This is a sweet one because it allows us to always get through with our Nantucko Husk. So we can sacrifice a bunch of things, make it a 10-10 or a 12-12, make it unblockable with Rogue's Passage, and kill our opponent in 1 shot. And then 8 Swamps. So that's the main deck. Sideboard-wise, 3 Caustic Caterpillars as artifact and enchantment removal. The rest of the Duresses for control matchups. Another Evolutionary Leap, also very good against grindy, control removal heavy matchups. A couple Feed the Clans, can come in with aggro matchups. We can turn it on with either Smothering Abomination or Nantucket Husk, or 3 plummets actually, to deal with Dragon Lords and other flyers, and 4 ultimate prices, more early game removal if we run into a Tarka Red, Red-Green Landfall, those type of decks. Also kills a Jace, which can be important. So that's the deck we're playing. So it's the upgraded event deck, also Black-Green Aristocrats. So what changes did we make to the deck? We added the 4 copies of Carrier Thrall for a total cost of 68 cents. We added 1 more Saltite Emissary, 11 cents. Added 2 more Zulaport Cutthroats. You only get 2 in the event deck. You really got to have 4 of these to make the strategy work. That was 98 cents. 2 more Grim Haruspex. Added in another 90 cents. 3 more Smothering Abominations. Comes in at $2.81. And then the last main deck edition, you get 1 Llanowar Waste in your event deck. But we added 3 more to make our mana function a little bit better, which was $4.29. Sideboard-wise, we only get 3 Duresses in the event deck, so we added the 4th Duress, 15 cents, 2 Feed the Clans, 34 cents, the 3 Plummets, 33 cents, and 2 more copies of Ultimate Price. Comes in at just under 50 cents. Oh, and also the second Evolutionary Leap. I forgot about that one. $1.85. So altogether, we added $12.86 to the cost of the deck. So not bad. 12 bucks, pretty reasonable. But it's even better than you think because the event deck also contained a Tasigur, the Golden Fang, which is $4.56 retail, a Whisperwood Elemental, $3.39 retail, and a Warden of the First Tree, $3.77 retail. So those 3 cards, if you add those together, are $11.72. So I think there's a really realistic chance, since those are actual standard staples, especially Warden and Tasigur, and we're trading for a bunch of janky, not really played cards in Standard, like Grim Haruspexes, Carrier Thralls, commons like Nantucket Husk, recently reprinted Pain Lands like Llanowar Waste. I think there's a really realistic chance that you could buy the event deck, go to your local gaming store, and straight up trade those 3 cards, Tasigur, Whisperwood, and Warden of the First Tree, for all the cards you are missing to play this version of the deck, the upgraded green-black Aristocrats version. In the worst case, you keep those cards because you want them for your collection, and you'll have to put out about another 12 or 13 bucks to upgrade your event deck into this Black-Green Aristocrats build that we're going to see in the videos today. So I have to say, this deck is actually pretty sweet, and if you wanted to, you could upgrade it even more. Hangerback is a really good card in this strategy, so if you have them, you play more copies of Hangerback. Liliana could fit in here, maybe over a Saltite Emissary or something, but as it is, this deck is pretty powerful, and it has a real shot. This is a synergy-based deck. It's not a power-based deck, so we are basically looking to combo our opponent off with all these weird-looking, underpowered-looking creatures, and there's a lot of synergy there, and I have to say, as I said in the intro video to the event deck challenge, I'm really excited about this deck, and it's played out awesomely. This is, in my opinion, easily the best event deck or Clash pack they've ever made. It's just so much more in depth than most of the event decks and Clash packs. This is a little more in depth and exciting, has some intricate lines of play, and is actually hard to play. Like, I'm amazed that they made an event deck that's actually challenging, and you actually have to think through your lines a little bit, playing both the out-of-the-box event deck and this upgraded version. So anyway, we're going to get on to the videos. First, don't forget, check out mtggoldfish.com. Decks, prices, strategy, the metagame, all my articles, budget magic. Basically has everything you could possibly want related to Magic the Gathering. So make sure to check that out. They support all the video series we do. And I hope you enjoyed the videos, and I will talk to you soon.